Yeah, I think we've worked very hard in the pre-season, as we had to do. There's obviously been a long layoff, and within that we have to make sure that you don't do too much too quickly. It can lead to injuries and such forth. And we've had little niggles, we've had one or two concerns like every other team will have. But I think hopefully looking forward to this Bengal game, we have a group available that's ready to give their very best. But the pre-season went well, we worked hard, but as always, it's when the season starts, that's what counts. But I think we've worked very hard to get ourselves good in shape physically and mentally, which is really important, particularly in a bio bubble. But the lads have really applied themselves and they've been a real joy to work with. Well, I think like anything, we are the same as every team. We want to be in those positions, we want to be challenging, to be up there at the very top end. Of course we do. And everybody has aspirations of being winners. That's why it's such a competitive league. What we have done, and certainly the improvement from last year in Jamshedpur was there for everyone to see. Came into the job, I think the last 10 games of the previous season, Jamshedpur took the least points of anybody. So there was a big job to be done. We certainly improved enormously, but not quite enough to be in those playoff positions last year, although we came very close. And I've got to say, with one or two things that went away, we would have found ourselves in those positions. That being said, we can't affect what's behind us. What we can affect is what's to come. And we've put a group together that we think can be really competitive and fight about the top end of those for those spots. And that's what we have to do. Obviously, it was tough. Had a terrible injury blow with Farouk. I brought him to the club in January because of the belief and trust and I have in him, and knowing that he's going to get better and improve. That being said, it now provides an opportunity for young Boris, young Coleman, all these young, exciting players that were brought to the club. And that's what they have. They have a coach that's prepared to give young Indian players a chance and work with them and make them better. Yeah, I think I've got to say, I think that's a very, very good question. I think that's a real dilemma because I do believe the 6 foreign players we have got have all got fantastic qualities, fantastic attributes. They've shown up really well in pre-season, and of course, that's probably if it's a good problem to have, then of course it is. You'd rather have that problem than that players are out of sort, they're not in good shape in respect of they're not performing well. These boys are, and they're great lads as well. So of course, as a head coach, that's a real dilemma that we can only have 4 on the field at any given time. That being said as well, obviously from last season when it was 5, it now gives an opportunity to another young Indian player. So of course, there'll be challenges in picking the 4 from the 6 to take the field at any given time. But equally, the boys that do take the field will be ready to give their all. And that's what we need. Because we think, like most teams, we'll have fantastic individual players, but our strength is always going to be as a group. So that's what you need to bring. You need to remember you're a member of a team, and it's a team that wins, not individuals. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a really serious injury. Even if Farouk is able to come back this season, I'd be very surprised. But the important thing for Farouk is that he recovers and he goes on. He'll have a fantastic career. I mean, he's a great kid. I've got so much time for him. I was really looking forward, and certainly going to enjoy his development this season because he's a very clever, very intelligent footballer. And what I wanted to do, as I done with Shongte at Chennai, was add goals to his games. And I was convinced we could do that, and I know we would have because he was and he is such a good lad, such an appetite to improve and listen and learn. Very similar in Shongte in many respects, in that they're hungry, they want to be very good players, and Farouk has all the potential to do that. So, in regards to his recovery, I don't expect to have him available for this ISL season, but I do know that when he's fully healthy, which won't be that long thereafter, that he's going to have a glorious career, and all good luck to him. Yeah, there is niggles obviously because we've had boys that have missed the last couple of pre-season games, but they've been able to train now. So ideally they'll have some more training under the belt, but there is 1 or 2 that has those little niggles that have missed out on some training, but they've did the basis of, you mentioned 6 weeks, they've done the majority of that, which will stand them in good stead because your pre-season is obviously designed not just for the first game, it's designed for the whole season, that it serves you well and it gives you that platform and that physicality and the mentality it takes to undergo those pre-seasons to have you ready for the whole season. So, as I say, I've been delighted with the application and the effort of the lads, and of course what we need to do with those qualities aforementioned, we need to bring the quality with it. We know how hard they work, we know how honest they are in their performances, we want to bring quality with all that, and if we do that, that will always give us a chance of winning games, and that's what we set out to do. Win every game we enter into. We want to win, we want to play in a manner befitting of our fans. We wish we had them with us, supporting us. We'll certainly miss them, that goes without saying. The fans are the lifeblood of the game. the sooner we get them back into the stadiums, the better for everyone. Obviously, health permitting and everybody being safe and well. But I think every team would say the same. We miss our fans. We certainly do, because Jamshedpur, I certainly experienced it in my first game in the ISL. A packed stadium, they were vocal, they were colourful. They got behind their team because we were 1-0 up in the game, but they kept staying with their team, kept through to really the ideal of what a supporter is, and that's supporting your team through thick and thin. So we'll certainly miss the Jamshedpur fans. My message for them is keep supporting, from afar at the moment, but we know through our media team the message will get through to us, and we'll do our very best to give you a team that you can be proud of. Well, East Bengal is a whole new team in terms of the turnover of players. 6 new foreigners, all very good players. 2 big centre backs, big lad played in Australia, the Croatian Prici, Misla, Derisevic, who's a champion at Maribor, the central midfielder, Sidoi, the Dutch lad that plays in there, the 2 strikers, Shima, the Nigerian, who's won championships in Molde, and Perisevic is a very, very talented striker. So they did very well, I would suggest, East Bengal, with a foreign recruitment. And again, they have a number of players that we already know in terms of domestic. Jackie, Amarjeet, joined our boys that were with us last year. Very, very good players and really good people. And obviously boys like Adil Khan. They've signed one of the top goalkeepers in the league from ATK. So there's no doubt, I think East Bengal are going to be a very good team. The manager, new staff come in, good manager with good experience, knows football at the highest level. So I think East Bengal are going to be a very good team. We have to make sure we're at our very best, and we'll prepare and give them the utmost respect. But we have to make sure we're at our best. If we're at our best, we always feel that we can win games, and that's what we have to do. But I do know that East Bengal will certainly be a tough challenge in the opening game. That's guaranteed. Yeah, the players want to win against East Bengal, as East Bengal want to win against Jamshedpur. It's the first year, as I say, you've trained, you've done all your pre-season, you've worked so hard, and now obviously the competition starts. And everybody wants to get points as early as we can. So regardless of what happened last season or the season before or who you played against, it will absolutely have no bearing on the games that you play this season, because it's a new competition, it's new teams, and a lot of teams have changed, they've certainly changed personnel. So you have to be ready for that challenge, and you have to be ready for the team that you play against, good players coming in and a good team. So the players will be well warned about the threats that East Bengal have, as always, and we have to make sure that we deliver on our performance, and that's the key, because there'll be the utmost respect, as I've said. We'll be aware of the threats, but we have to play our part. We have to get the ball down, pass and move that ball, and look to be offensive when we can, look to score goals, and equally looking to be really tight at the back, which we're showing we can do last year. But we want to get that balance between attack and defence and make sure that all over the Jamshedpur are a very, very good team. That's the simplest way to put it. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a source of frustration for us all, particularly for the fans, because we want the fans in the stadiums. The fans, I've mentioned before, they are the lifeblood of the game. Football, you can have great games, and we will have great games in the ISL. I would suggest when the fans are there, that experience then is fourfold, because it just takes it to another level. But we'll do our best in the absence of our fans to give them a team that they can enjoy watching, a team they can be proud of. And obviously, health permitting, everybody safe and well, the sooner we get the fans back, the better. But for our fans, Jamshedpur fans, please keep supporting. And all the ISL fans, at the end of the day, we're all football lovers. Support your own team, be passionate with it. And when you're not supporting your own team, support Jamshedpur. It can be your second favourite team.